Hey guys, and how it goes today. So, we're going to talk about a mysterious sauropod from my favorite movie in the whole Jurassic franchise, the Lost World Jurassic Park. Now, this movie is amazing on so many levels. The book to this movie also is so incredible, but there's a lot of things that were used and not used in the movie. For example, of today's subject, as I just said, a mysterious sauropod. Now, a lot of things have been used and unused and discovered years later. Movies, things got cut a lot, like for instance this specific sauropod right here. Now, I found this on Instagram, on someone's Instagram page. I'm not going to butcher their name. I will try it, but if I butcher your name, I apologize. But this caught my attention a few days ago, and I was like, huh. So I did some research on it. No one else seems to know anything other than this Instagram account right here. So this is Monacara Jurassico. I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong, but I'm giving you all credit to this. And as you can read, this is 1997, the commercial release of Lost World. The sauropod was released exclusively in some magazine or newspaper to promote the film. Now, later in the description it says, theories say it was an Apatosaurus, but the production team borrowed the sculpture from a museum to put it to be part of the film's release, probably represented the Mamenchisaurus. Now, Mamenchisaurus, as we all know, is the biggest dinosaur so far besides the Dreadnoughtus in the Jurassic franchise that we had. Now, this kind of looks like Mamenchisaur, it really does, but I kind of have a theory on this, but I'll get back to it. But this is really cool. If they borrowed this from a museum, I want to know what museum they borrowed it from, because this is amazing. But I'm not too sure about that. I mean, maybe, what if it was a sauropod we never used in production? But this is Mamenchisaur. This is the sculpture reference they used for the Mamenchisaur, and it's incredible. Obviously, we had, I believe, one plush figure of it and potentially a hatchling of it that came with Nick Van Owen. But cut 2 years later in 2023, we finally got a larger, like, amazing model of it, toy model of this Mamenchisaurus, and I'm still going to go after this one day. Probably, but took some years later we got this, but this isn't the first time this happened. So during production of the Lost World film, they also were constructing this Pteranodon, which, yes, it's a Pteranodon, it looks like Pteranodon, but also I believe this to be the Geosternbergia. Now, it used to be called Pteranodon Geosternberg, I believe, but then it just got its own name as Geosternbergia, which either way, I like it, and I like the plumage of this. I love the colors on this. I love the head crest. It looks like it's been through a lot. It looks realistic. Also, I'm digging the guy's hand in the mouth. Looks like it's fishing for a fish that got stuck down the dinosaur's throat, which I think is a funny theory. But anyway, so this is the actual Geosternbergia right here. I love this model. I'm happy we have figures this years later as well. This is used in a lot of promo, a lot of production stuff and everything, but obviously never made it to the final film, except the coloring was used in the final film at the end of the movie. As we all know, that Pteranodon, the famous scene, John Hammond speaking at the end, the Pteranodon swoops in, sits down, perches, and caws through the Jurassic skies, I guess. But we did actually get a toy of this version of Pteranodon with the same coloring as well. But also, it isn't the first time. In the first movie, we had Ralph. Now, this animatronic was being created to be Ralph from the novel into the movie. I don't know if a scene ever got filmed for it, but it never was used, and it was used later on in the Lost World as a baby Triceratops, which is still amazing. I love how they reused it. But here's my theory. I think, right here, the Jurassic World Dominion Ankylosaurus. I'm pretty sure this is what it should have been, because even I took a picture right here of my own figure next to this on my computer screen right now. You can see me in the background. That's great. But look at it. It looks very similar where the eyes are set, where the nostrils cavity set, where the teeth are set, and everything. It looks very close. Now, again, it's a figure, it's a toy, its own version of it, its own depiction, but here's a model head of it in France, which looks very similar to the model they used for the movie. Now, I could be wrong. This is my theory. I'd like to see this. I think it'd be really cool if we have Ankylosaurus as well in the film. It'd be great. Along with many other things I found, like this, for instance, this random Lost World Jurassic Park from Japan item. I'm not sure what this is exactly, but it has a sauropod up there, which looks very close. I mean, it could be an Apatosaurus, but it could be Ankylosaurus. Who knows? It could be Mamenchisaur. Who knows? And also, here is a size comparison I found online of Ankylosaurus as well. And the way how it's drawn out, it kind of looks like how it's chunky and thick at the head. It kind of looks like the image they used. It really, really does. But again, going back to it as well, this is the first time we saw something not used in a movie like this. 2018 Fallen Kingdom. This is a huge, huge Stegosaurus carcass. For some reason, I don't believe it was ever used in the film. I don't remember seeing it in the background. Maybe it wasn't a scene that was cut. I think Clayton did a video on this as well, so go watch his channel. But yeah, this is huge. This is just enormous. Also, I'm not gonna lie, I'm digging the graboid on the wall. I love Tremors, one of my favorite movies. I want to talk about that one day, but we'll get to that one day. But yeah, this is another example of an item they haven't used and they made for production, I think, as well. It's really cool. But going back to this, do you guys think it's supposed to be the Mamenchisaurus? Do you think it's supposed to be the Potosaurus? Do you believe it was a model borrowed from a museum in production? Who knows? I like to think it's Ankylosaurus, since the Reanimer had it. Besides just the one figure, it might have showed up in a video game somewhere, who knows, but that's another future video idea I have. But what do you guys think about this? If you have any more information, please contact me on my Instagram, links down below. But take care and be excellent to each other, guys.